Hello. Today we'll be doing the second part of work, power, energy, and today we'll focus on the section where we'll be dealing with mechanical energy and other forms of energy and different forms of mechanical energy, their conservation, the transformation of one energy into other forms, and also few examples of mechanical energy being conserved. And this is the section which will conclude the chapter work, power, energy for your class 10. So let's start and keep your classwork ready, because whatever I'll do on the board you have to write it down in your classwork. Okay, let's go. So we already know that we are going to learn about energy in this second part of work, power, energy. I told you that there are different forms of energy, and we have to understand that how these energies transform into other form of energies. For the beginning, we'll start with mechanical energy. You can see there I have drawn a kind of hierarchy which is there. So what is mechanical energy? Mechanical energy is the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion or its position. I mean, when a body is in motion, it is definitely having an energy that you can visualize. But even if the body is at rest, then also it can have certain forms of energy, and that is we are going to do in this chapter. So either in motion or by position. And mechanical energy is broadly classified into two forms. One is called potential energy, that is written as PE, potential and energy, PE, and kinetic energy, that is K. Potential energy, this you should write in your class book, that potential energy is defined. Potential energy is defined as the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its position or configuration. By virtue of its position or configuration. So potential energy is definitely the energy of rest, but it is also again broadly classified into two forms, as I told you in the definition, that it is the energy possessed by a body by virtue of its position or configuration. That means when it is at rest, where it is somewhere placed, at that point of time it is having energy, that's fine. That is usually the gravitational potential energy. But when a body is at rest due to its elastic behavior, then also this body can have a potential energy. In class 11, when you go up, you will learn about this elastic potential energy or configurational potential energy, but right now it is not included in our syllabus. And when we come to the kinetic energy, is the energy, right on the definition, it is the kinetic energy is the energy possessed by a body, energy possessed by a body by virtue of its motion. By virtue of its motion. Now, here is another interesting part, that kinetic energy can also be broadly classified into two forms, and those are the two types of motion. And in force, you have already know what are the forms of equilibrium we have, and one was translational equilibrium due to the translatory motion, and one was the rotational equilibrium, the moment of force for the rotational motion. So usually we have these two motion. There are other forms of motion, but right now within our domain we can classify this into two parts. So kinetic energy is again broadly classified into translational and rotational. Again, I am telling you, this rotational part we'll do in class 11. It is not there in class 10. So the translational energy is there. So this is the overview of the mechanical energy, its subdivisions, and we are now will move into the details of it. Like we have potential and kinetic. We have potential and kinetic here. Broadly, it is subdivided into two parts. So let us do with the potential energy. What is potential energy? Let us find out. Potential energy, right now we are avoiding the configurational or elastic potential energy. We are now with respect to the configurational energy, and already in the first part of work power energy we have done this. Suppose a body of mass m is taken to a certain height against its weight of due to the gravity. So when we are taking this up, we say this is the earth. If we assume, then we say the potential energy at the surface of the earth is zero. So whenever we are taking a body upward with a certain height, then it definitely possesses an energy, and energy is the amount of work done. We already know what was the energy we did when we carried a mass of m to a height h. It is, you already know this, it is mgh, correct? So what is the potential energy? The expression of potential energy or gravitational potential energy, that is respect to the position, is mgh. The unit you know is joule in SI and ergs in CGS system. So this is the expression for the potential energy. Definition I already told you, right? So let's move to the second part, which is kinetic energy. The kinetic energy is defined as by the virtue of its motion. Great. So in order to calculate the kinetic energy, we have to understand a simple thing. What is that? Apart from the concept of force in class 9, and force said that until and unless a force is exerted on a body, it doesn't show any motion. Great. So you are applying a force here, and that is causing some sort of motion, and it is covering a displacement of s. Say it is having a mass, and it was having certain velocity, say, or maybe it was at rest. Okay, let's say that it was in motion and we have pushed it forward to have more velocity. So it is having final velocity, which is v. So in this, by the application of force, it has got certain amount of acceleration, and due to that, the velocity changes from u to v. Great. So what is acceleration? It is v minus u by t, you can say, or else we can also write in this form. This won't be that much required here. So we can write v square minus u square by twice s. I mean, v square equals to u square plus twice s, so acceleration is this. Okay, great. So what is the work done? Work done is force into displacement. Force is ma, so m into this. This is very interesting. You'll find it very interesting. Force is this, mass into acceleration, and we have displacement. We can cancel all this. So finally, what is the work done coming? It is half m and then v square minus u square. So this is the usual thing. So if the body was at rest, that means u is equal to 0. Then what is the kinetic energy? The expression we are getting, it is half mv square. We had taken a very general case. Now we are categorizing that what is the expression for kinetic energy, and this is the expression is half mv square, half into mass into velocities square. Are you thinking about momentum right now? Is it? Because half mv square and momentum was mv, so there is some little bit of change in the expression of momentum and in the expression of kinetic energy. Okay, so let us now concentrate on the expression between kinetic energy and momentum. I hope you have understood this. Okay, so I was telling you that we'll find out some relation between kinetic energy and momentum, because that expression actually haunted us. And even there are some other aspect also, other physical aspect also. There are certain things that also I'll tell you. So let's go. K and kinetic energy and momentum. Okay, this is a very interesting and important relation we have in mechanics. The section we are doing right now is called mechanics, the classical mechanics. So this is a very important interpretation or a relation. Okay, so don't ignore this. This will be required till lot of higher classes. This will be used. The same thing will be used. Okay. So anyways, so Ke is half mv square. I'm writing with v k. K is half mv square. Okay. So K is half m. If I multiply m here, then I can have an m square v square. Right. So K is, this is what? mv whole square, that is p square, momentum. So p square by 2m. So this is the relation with respect to kinetic energy and momentum. But here kinetic energy is the subject. Let us find out an expression where momentum will be the subject. That will be also helpful. You can easily say, what is momentum? It is square root of 2k. Sorry, let us write in this form. It will be easier to remember. 2mk. So this is the relation between momentum and kinetic energy, and this relation, these two forms are very important. I'm repeating, please don't ignore. Okay, now let us find out what is the physical interpretation of this kind of expression in mechanics or in work points. We have a relation k equals to p square by 2m, or p equals to square root of 2mk. So what now? Let us imagine. Please ignore the proper description in my drawing. I'm very bad in drawing. Anyways, so let me draw a truck. Okay, so this is it. And so we have a truck here, and we have a car. Okay, just a schematic one. Anyways, we have a truck and we have a car. Obviously, the truck will have more mass than a car. Okay, ideally, we are not thinking about the small trucks. We are thinking about the huge one, which carries loads from far. Anyways, so let's say this is having a mass of small capital M, and this is having a mass of small m. All right, and the velocity will be capital V. This will be small v, and like that. So what they are saying, number one, we have a question. And what is that? They are saying that these two bodies have same KE. So which one will have higher momentum? That is very important. Which one will have higher momentum? Because which will give you more blow. Okay, suppose a car is having an accident, God forbid, or a truck is having an accident, the truck will suffer more damage because it is, if their momentum is high. I'm just thinking like that. So same K, what I can write, half capital M V square equals to half small m V square. This is the usual thing. Alright, great. So all these things are getting clear. So which one will have higher momentum? That we have to find out. So in that case, what I can do one thing. I can write m square v square by capital M equals to small m square small v square by small m. So this is momentum of the truck, and this is momentum of the car, and that is equal to, I've taken this one in the denominator, and I'll take this one that. So capital M by small m. Now capital M is greater than small m, so this ratio is greater than 1. So what I can say? I can say that Pt is greater than Pc. So I was telling you, suppose the kinetic energy is same, but which one is having more? Pt square will be greater than Pc square. That means the momentum of the truck is greater than momentum of the car. So this is a very important, expression, and it suggests us a lot of things. Okay, so this is also comes in your exam. They ask you this kind of question. So please practice and don't ignore this. Now we'll move into the other forms of energy, because the mechanical part is almost over. I'll do a few sums afterward, but the learning section is over. Now we'll move into the different forms of energy and the conservation. If you open your textbook, you'll find out that after this mechanical energy, this potential kinetic, you have a section called different forms of energy. Okay, and in that section, you have to learn the different forms of energy. You see, energy is associated with everything we see. Okay, and for that reason, even when a wave propagates, it also propagates a form of energy. When we are using electricity, that is a form of energy. and we using fan, whatever we are using our around us, everything is a form of energy or a transformation of energy, right? Like in hydraulic power station, we convert the when the water falls from a height, we rotate the turbine, and we finally produce electricity from that mechanical, or the water is falling from a height, it is possessing a potential that is getting converted into mechanical energy or motional rotational mechanical energy for the turbine, and that is finally getting electricity is generated at the end point. So there are different forms like light energy, chemical energy, all the chemical reactions you are doing in chemistry, they always, you'll see that they will always evolve some sort of energy and they form new compounds, and then also the rearrangement of the molecules or the atoms that occur, and there also a lot of energies are there. In periodic table also you have heard about the ionization potential and other forms of energy that you know already. So there are different forms, okay, like light, chemical, electrical, like we already did mechanical, then we have nuclear energy, solar energy, sound energy, thermal energy, geothermal energy, which comes from the geological undulations. Okay, so these are the forms of energy that you have to know, you have to go through this. And also, you have to understand the conservation of energy. I'm telling you, you have to open your textbook, you have to go through all these sections which are there. I mean, you have to understand all these different forms. I told you, you have to understand all the various forms of energy that is there in your textbook, right? So right now, let us concentrate on conservation of energy. Now, what is conservation? Conservation means, you know, that this is a form where we can say that something we can preserve or conserve. Now, what is that? They say that any form of energy, the energy cannot be created. The conservation of energy theorem suggests, please write it down in your class book. Conservation of energy suggests that any form of energy or energy cannot be created, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one, it can only be transformed from one form to another form. Like you are, say, you are burning coal, okay? So a lot of fumes are coming out, carbon dioxide and other gases are being formed. But ultimately, out of that coal, you are getting heat energy, and other form of chemical energy is also occurring. So energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. Now, in this section, you see, I cannot write all those things on the board because it is there in your textbook. Just you sit with the textbook and remember all these transformations. So say sound energy to light energy. Alright, or chemical reaction to sound energy and light energy. When we do, light of firecrackers during Diwali and all, so what happens? The chemical reaction occurs within that particular crackers, and finally we get sound, light energies, which is the celebration for us. So anyway, so these portions you have to sit with your textbook and go through this, because from here in your school or in your board exam, lot of questions. At least 2 questions will be asked that state some example of this thing, or they will tell you that this is the procedure, like you are firing a cracker, what are the changes of energy. Then you have to write that chemical energy inside the cracker is converted into sound and light energy and whatever. So this we have to explain, okay? Here it's your practice will make you more perfect in order to answer this question. There is nothing to explain you as such. Okay, so let us now move into the next portion where we can see the conservation of energy that we are doing in the form of mechanical energy. You have to understand one thing. We have in details in our syllabus we have in detail study of the mechanical energy only, and other forms of energy we have just kept that those forms of energy or transformations as information. These are informations that you have to know and remember and write when you are asked in your exam. Okay, so let us move into the conservation of mechanical energy. Conservation of mechanical energy for a freely falling body. You can see I have drawn the diagram already. Let us assume that a mass m is falling from a height which is h, position was A, and ultimately it is reaching to the ground at point C. Now we have taken an intermediate section where we are assuming that the velocity here is v1. You can understand that at point A there is no velocity, so u is equal to 0 because it is freely falling body. There was no initial velocity, and at B it is having a velocity v1 which is downward, and at this depth of x, so the rest of the height is h minus x, and finally when it is reaching to the point C it is having a velocity v. The first calculation already I have done. This is for the position A. The mechanical energy means potential and kinetic. So potential energy is mgh. This we already know. We have done this already. And kinetic energy, since it is having no initial velocity, the kinetic energy will be 0 because it is half mv square. U is 0, so half mu square 0. And so total mechanical energy is kinetic potential plus kinetic. I'm sorry. So U plus K will give you mgh. So I mark this as equation 1. Now we'll move into B, position B, which is it's an intermediate position and having a velocity v1. And this v1 is very important because first of all we have to calculate what is v1. We have an expression v square equals to u square plus twice as, and in this case for the vertical motion you already know, we did in class 9, that v1 square here will be equal to 2gx. Okay. So now, what is the potential energy here? You see, you have already fallen a displacement of x. So rest of the height from the ground is h minus x. So here the potential energy will be mg into h minus x. Great. Kinetic energy is half m v1 square, which is half into m into 2gx. So finally it is coming, half and 2 will get cancelled. So let us write first. Okay, so finally we are getting it is mgx. So now we have to find out mechanical energy. We have kinetic, so u plus k. Now if you add mgh minus mgx, and here it is mgx, so if you add these two, I am talking about this expression and this expression, you can easily understand the mechanical energy here is also mgh, because mgx and mgx will get cancelled. Great. Now let us go to the position C. Now at position C it is finally falling to the ground, but it is having a velocity that we know. So what is v square here is 2gh, because it has already fallen a total height of h. Great. So what is the potential? Is 0. Why? Because there is no separation, there is no displacement with respect to the earth, and we know that earth we consider to be having a potential which is 0. It is taken as the reference frame. Alright, so kinetic energy is half mv square. If I replace the value of v square, that is mgh. So what is mechanical energy at point C? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't write here. Don't forget. Okay, it indicates that what mechanical energy you have calculated for B or A for C. Alright, so now it is U plus K again, and you can easily write this is again mgh. So whatever expressions we have got till now, 1, 2 and 3, all are mgh. Alright, so from here, from this explanation, from this expression or this value mgh, we are getting an idea that when a free falling body falls without any other hazards, we are ignoring air friction, air viscosity, any airflow, any wind turmoil, nothing. There is nothing. It's absolutely falling in vacuum as if. So then we can see that the total mechanical energy is mgh, and that means the total mechanical energy for this kind of freely falling body is conserved. That means it is equal for any point throughout its motion, and that suggests the conservation of energy, and this is conservation of mechanical energy. That means the energy cannot be created, cannot be destroyed, it is transformed. You can see it was mgh here, potential. Now the potential is 0, and here kinetic was 0 at A. Now the kinetic is mgh. So the potential has been transformed into kinetic in order to conserve the total mechanical energy. Now I'll go to another example of simple pendulum. Okay, motion of the simple pendulum is here. You can see we have a ball of mass small m or whatever. So it is at A initially, then we give a small impact. So we give a small velocity, so it goes to the extreme. Again it comes back to A, again it gains that velocity. It comes to rest at when it goes to the extreme. And when it goes to another extreme, it again comes to rest, and again it comes to A, and it continues. Because this is a periodic motion, it never ends. So now we want to know how the conservation of mechanical energy is applicable for this kind of motion of simple pendulum. This is very important. It comes in your school or board exam. So please practice this carefully. You have to draw this diagram, don't forget that. So let us start with the A, which is the initial position from where the motion started, from where we started the experiment or undulation of this particular simple pendulum. So here say the velocity is v or whatever. So at this point you can see this is the reference line, the height till which it is when it's going to the extreme position, the height is h. So at A, what I can write, just simply I can write at A, what is potential energy? 0. Can you tell me what is kinetic energy? Is half mv square or whatever. And here the kinetic energy is maximum because potential energy is least. Okay, so this is there. And then at B we'll go to B. What is B here? Here I told you that it goes to the extreme and it stops and it comes back. So it cannot move further. It doesn't have any velocity to move further. So kinetic energy here, what I can write? The potential is definitely mgh. And what is the kinetic? Is 0. You see, when the potential was 0, the maximum kinetic energy was there at A. When the potential is maximum, the kinetic energy will become 0. Again, when it will come to A, it will again possess this. And again, similarly, the same thing will occur for C. And here also we'll write the same thing. It is going to another extreme, and potential is mgh, but the kinetic energy is 0. Okay? So this somehow shows us that how this conservation of mechanical energy is conserved here. Now you might think, okay, this was mv square, half mv square, this is mgh, then how these two are equal? I mean, if I add up these two, then it is not coming to this expression. It's very true. So let me just tell you a small thing, then you can understand. Like you have, you know, that whenever it is having a v square and it is moving to a height h, so I can write it is equal to 2gh. So half mv square will gradually go to this particular thing, which is mgh. So whatever is half mv squared here, the same thing will get transformed into mgh at B or C. So it is not something that very different. What is half mv squared? That is equal to mgh. So the total mechanical energy is conserved. Very good. Now, since we have understood, understood that how it works and what are the energy it is the motion of a simple pendulum it possesses, and everything we have understood. Let us do one problem that will help you. Okay, please write down a problem. I'm dictating. Please write down. The problem is a simple pendulum. A simple pendulum has imparted a velocity of 5 meter per second at the mean position, means this position, has imparted a velocity of 5 meter per second at the mean position. Full stop. Find what is the height attained by this pendulum at the extreme position. What is the height attained by this pendulum at the extreme position if 60% of kinetic energy at mean position, 60% of kinetic energy at the mean position is converted into the potential at extreme. Good. So we have clearly understood one thing, like here I was telling you that whatever mgh here and half mv square here, that is the mgh here, but now they are saying that 60% is being used and 40% is lost. In the previous class of work by energy I was telling you about efficiency. So here they are telling us that this pendulum is having, since it is also a kind of device, so it is having a lot of, here we have a ball bearing, a lot of steel rods and the bobs are there, there will be air, so there will be some energy is lost. In this case they are saying that energy is lost and the velocity imported is 5 meter per second. So what I can say? I can say that Ke at the mean position, or K1, is half mv square, great, and the Pe at this position, at the extreme, is 60% of this Ke. That means 60 by 100 into half mv square. Now what is P? P is mgh. 60% of the kinetic is converted into potential, 40% lost. So you have given 60%. mgh is equal to 6 by 10 into half mv square. Now you can replace the values. Okay, let's take the m is cancelled, g is 10, h is equal to 3 by 100, because there is 110 here, 10, 100 into 5 meter, so 25. So what is coming? 25 and everything here. So finally I am getting it is equal to 3 by 4, which is 0.75 meter. This is the answer. So 60% of the energy is used, has been converted from potential to kinetic. From kinetic to potential. I'm sorry. Just we have used. So see, we have solved the problem, and it was based on this oscillation of pendulum and the conservation of energy associated with the oscillation of pendulum. Okay, let us do another problem that will help you more, and I'll wind up this particular section, the part 2 of work by energy, and we have completed. Now let us do another problem. All right, we have a problem here. A 50-gram bullet is fired with a velocity 50 meter per second. Usually when we fire a gun, not we, I mean the people who are entitled to fire a gun legally, whenever it is fired, the bullet goes with a very high velocity, and that's why it can penetrate. It acquires a quite an amount of energy, and that's why it penetrates. Anyways, so 50 gram of bullet is fired with 500 meter per second. You can understand it's a quite high velocity. And then we have a target where it enters, and after a certain amount of time it goes inside and it comes to rest. And they have said that this portion where it has already traveled inside the target is 5 centimeters. So they have asked us to find out two things. Number one, what is the energy the bullet is imparting to the target? I mean, what is the threshold it is given? And they have also asked us to find out the retarding force offered by the target. Since the bullet has come to rest, it didn't penetrate and go beyond. So they are also asking what is the resistive force that is being offered by this target. Two questions. What is the energy imparted to the target, and what is the resistive force imparted on the bullet by the target? Okay? So let's do it one by one. Please write it down in your classwork, including the question. The first part. What is the energy? The energy is obviously the kinetic energy. The bullet is not at rest. It is going, and that's why it is the target is getting this kind of threshold, that impact. Anyways, so kinetic energy. So what is kinetic energy? Half mv square. The calculation is bad, but what to do? 50 gram. So I am writing this in a fractional form. It will help me to solve the do the calculation actually. Excuse me. So 500 meter per second square. So 5 square is 25. There were 2 zeros, so 4 zeros. Okay. So 3 cancels. 3 cancels. 250 into 5, which is 6. 125. And okay, fine. Let us do this. So what is the final answer? 25, 25, 6, 25, and 1 0 is left. So this is the energy which is given to the target, the impact, the threshold. Even you can now find out the momentum that is imparting on the bullet, but they didn't ask it. Anyways, they may ask you that what is the momentum being imparted to the bullet. And in order to find out what is the resistive force or retarding force being offered by the target, what we have to do? We know the kinetic energy is, sure. And this 5 centimeter is now very important because the bullet has entered by 5 centimeter in spite of the resistive force. It was resisting, but it went inside 5 centimeter. This is the energy it possessed. Energy means work. Okay, so can I write 6250, this energy, kinetic energy, is equal to force into displacement, work done by whom? The target. This is work done against the force. Displacement and force, they are opposite to each other. Okay, remember? Good. I mean, if this is the force, this is the displacement, please understand the angle is 180 degrees, so it is against the force. I am just writing the magnitude, I am not taking the negative sign. So 6250 is force into displacement, which is 5 centimeter, 5 by 100. So force is equal to 6250 into 100 by 5, which is 1250 and then 20 again. So 125 zeros Newton. You can short it down. 1.25, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is the second answer. The problem we had in work by energy and the problem we have in energy and conservation of energy, this section is more easier than what we did in work. If your concepts are clear, you will just apply the formula till your level, I mean class 10 board level, it is fine. Okay, later on we will have more complications, then we will think about it. Right now, this is it. So, my dear students, I have completed the second part of work by energy. Now it's your part. You see, you have two sections. I have completely covered the full chapter. That is, work by energy is complete. Now it's your part. Sit down with your textbook along with this classwork that you have written, all these numericals and everything. Read it out. Solve all the, do the solve examples in your homework or classwork copy, and do all the question answers and the numericals, which is there at the end of the sections. Okay, and after that we will come up with our doubt clearing session in our Accentus WhatsApp group, and there we can solve your queries and doubts. Alright, so till then I hope you have understood. It's not very difficult. There are a few expressions that you have to remember and few applications, few examples you have to remember. So this is a bit learning, but anyways this is interesting also. I hope that you have found this interesting. Alright, so till then, bye bye, stay safe and stay productive.